Hello, we are live. My name is Dan Fitz, creator of the Daily Freedom Path, helping men find freedom in their life, however you see that as, because most men don't even know what they want if you ask them. Now it's Saturday night. Maybe it's not Saturday night in your country yet. What are you doing? A lot of people will be celebrating Halloween. Where does Halloween come from? Why do you celebrate it? It used to be non-existent in Australia. Now it's much more common. Almost every single country I've been in during Halloween, I've noticed that people start to celebrate it. But what exactly are they celebrating apart from women dressing up like, for lack of better words, whores? Because why is it always a sexy nurse, a sexy vampire, a sexy whatever? If the idea of Halloween is to dress up like a ghost or a ghoul or something like that, why do you need to see someone's ass cheeks, someone's tits, that kind of thing? Why are you doing it in the first place? Is it for the costumes and the chocolate? Is it for the deeper meaning behind the holiday? Do you even know where it comes from? Now, I'm not saying that I know everything, but I'm going to share with you a lesson that is going to rock your world a little bit, because Daily Freedom Path was retired in 2021. I'll be wrapping it up at the end of the year. Now, I loved what I've done with it over the last 3 years, and I've helped hundreds of men, multiple countries, improve their life. But without freedom in the Daily Freedom Path, there's really not too much I can teach you. So what I will be teaching men is about how to get outside of the matrix, how to get off the grid, how to become more independent. I have people coming around trick-or-treating and I'm working. This is testing my patience slightly, but I'm going to continue speaking to you guys now, because I do what is important for me, not what's important for other people. Let's just wait. Classy, the sophisticated side of society. Anyway, where was I? Control and manipulation. A lot of it comes down to political correctness. Someone's calling me, have to answer it. Someone texts me, have to answer it. Someone messaged me on social media, have to answer them in a polite way. Someone knocked on my door, have to give them things because it's a holiday they don't even know what they're celebrating. Fuck that, not me. Not doing shit. It's a very hard place to live in that place of freedom. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm wearing a Top Gun jumpsuit. Partly because it is Halloween, but partly because I wear it multiple times a year when I just feel like being Tom Cruise. But more importantly, as I realized our freedoms were being stripped away by left and right political parties, division, divided opinions, lack of critical thinking, lack of independent thought, censorship. Being a man who wants his environment to be a product of him and not a product of his environment, i.e. reacting instead of choosing to act how and when you want to, it's a very difficult place for many men to live because they've never done it in their life before, i.e. I took the medication to keep my job. i.e. I didn't say anything online because I didn't want people to judge me, i.e. my business, life, freedom, kids' future has been destroyed, so I chose to do nothing. It seemed easier and a better idea at the time, but like most things, you generally don't do something until it becomes necessary or it's just too incredibly difficult to stay where you are right now. So this is what I've done my entire life. I simply looked at my life about 15 years ago and I said, I don't want to live like this anymore. And I changed. That's the basic concept behind changing your life. Very simple, just incredibly hard to do. So I wanted to understand why people do what they do so I can help them change. Pretty good person like that, despite what some people think. So the internet is a magical fucking tool. I'm talking to you now. I could be talking to you in multiple countries at multiple times. If you watch the replay, say hashtag replay. I couldn't give a fuck if you watch the replay. I just hope you listen to the information. How does the internet work? How does social media work? How does your phone work? I mean, if you ask these questions to someone, maybe ask it to yourself and try and explain it out loud. You realize how little you know. You see that box up in the corner there? How does an air conditioner work? Explain that to me. I don't fucking know. I press a button, cold air comes out. It's about all I need to know. But this is something very serious because this is shaping the fabric of society by design. And what I'm about to share with you is going to rock your world. Now, you may not change, like when I've told people how to eat right or how to overcome addiction or how to be a better man. You may not do it, but at least you know. But this should scare the shit out of you enough to do something, and I'll give you a few brief tips on how to do something. I started smoking cigarettes in December because I don't know if you noticed, 2020 was an incredibly challenging year, and to deal with the stress, I noticed these were pretty good. And I've never had more people reach out to me and say, did you know smoking's bad? No, I had fucking no idea. I had no idea. I mean, they're covered in warnings on the packs, and everyone that I know who has smoked, like my mother, is dead. I mean, I had no idea, but thanks for telling me. Why is it that some 50 years ago smoking was considered cool, healthy? The scientists said it's good for you, nothing's wrong with it. There was commercials on television. That smooth, rich taste. Because there was no internet. Whatever was on the television goes. Whatever was in the newspaper goes. I mean, why would it be wrong? How could it be wrong? There was still a handful of people that knew how to think independently or had different perspectives because it wasn't programmed into them. But now with the internet, social media, political correctness, it's manipulation on steroids. So, for a basic understanding, this computer is connected to a Wi-Fi router. That Wi-Fi router is then connected to the local internet company. That internet company is connected to more of an international router, and so on and so forth. I mean, the amount of individual connections there are, I'm not too sure, but what that means is every time I search something, every time I look at something, every time I buy something, that information isn't just shared with the place that I look or buy or do whatever I do. It stops at my local internet company. It stops at the national router. It goes through the international router. And all that individual information is collected and stored. Because all those multiple times you hit I agree, I accept, whatever it is, without reading the terms and conditions, because you didn't read them, did you? This information is collected and stored with the idea of taking your thoughts, your ideas, your porn preferences, and then turning that into money. The idea of the internet is mainly just to create money. It's a great tool, like anything, a hammer. It can build a house, but a hammer can also smash someone's face in. Depends how you use it. It's never been more crucial in this point in history that you understand how to use your phone, how to use your laptop, turn that fucking black box in your house off. You should have done that a long time ago. A acquaintance of mine who is incredibly gifted with computers, things like that, he discovered a backdoor software trap in Chinese televisions. You may own one in Australia. It never made the news in Australia. It was on the news in America, where this software could turn on the camera. There was a microphone. It paid attention to what you watched and when, without your consent. Very scary stuff. Not typical of China, but very concerning. Those televisions were recalled from memory, or like most serious problems and breaches of privacy and things that can be used to control you or make money from you. The powers that be that could do something, just let it slide. I mean, no one's getting hurt, are they? I mean, entire societies are being manipulated, elections are being stolen, you're being brainwashed, you're being divided against your family and your friends, but I mean, no one's getting hurt. I noticed this on the greatest scale last year during the American election. Now I'm going to pause and give you a moment to not get triggered too much about who you support in politics or what you think happened or anything like that, but this is simply just my belief, and you can believe whatever you want. The election was rigged, and obviously the dementia-ridden pedo is now running the free world. Because I have free thought and make my own opinion, and I actually used to support the former president, I came to the conclusion it's all theatre and they're just as bad as each other, and it doesn't matter who you vote for, it really does nothing. They'll do what they want to do anyway, and that election really should have showed you that. Because they know the people, you and me, will do nothing, as we've done. I mean, the leader of the free world, the country known for freedom, the country with the most guns, did nothing. Where most of the population, whether they liked left or right, whether they liked whichever president was running or didn't like, they still should have done something based on the fact that most people know it was rigged, at the very least manipulated. Just going back to what I said about the internet, this information, this data, this left and right politics, opinion on something or opposing opinion on something. There's algorithms in place that put the information in front of you that they want you to see. If you're right-wing, they flood you with right-wing information. If you're a bit of a lefty, they flood you with that kind of lefty shit. If you're into football, if you're into whatever your interests are, you'll notice your timelines, your emails, your advertising is just, even now, I would suggest not using Google search engine, because even that is aligned to what you think you should see or what you think is right, not what is actually right. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right about this particular topic. I'm right, but I'm not saying that I'm right on everything, and you have to agree with me and you have to believe me. I share this information with you so you can make your own beliefs again, because you're probably not making your own beliefs, or you may not even know what they are. Because to go from who I was to who I am now, it took a large amount of I'm probably wrong on a few things moments. I'm probably wrong on a few things. Let's break this down with you. So are you overweight? It's probably fair to say you have no idea about health. Is your bank balance where you want it to be? It's probably fair to say you have no idea about finances. Can you control your emotions? Are you happier more days than you are sad? You probably don't know how to control your emotions, understand your mind or your body. And again, that's by design. It's not cool to learn. It's not cool to study. It's not cool to be disciplined. Yet everyone wants the outcomes of those things. So I'm not sure if you're aware, there's a pandemic on. Fucking no sense. Don't you know there's a pandemic on? I had no idea. Fuck, I had no idea. Thanks for telling me. You probably have a certain belief on what's happening and why. Why do you have that belief? Do you notice all your friends agree with you? Do you notice the information, the news on what you believe shows up, but nothing else? And you think, how can this other side of the world, other side of the population, not see what I see, not believe what I believe? Are they stupid? Are they blind? Don't they know there's a pandemic on? Don't they know what they're doing is illegal? And I'm not just talking about that particular subject, I'm talking about everything. I mean, 2020, we had a racism pandemic. 2019, it was a climate change epidemic. I mean, they're bringing that back in. And again, you have two sides on the topic. I mean, restrict everything and save the planet. And the other side is, what do you actually do in your life individually to make the planet better, apart from telling people to stop doing shit? And that's a very good argument in itself. Because going back to the powers that be, going back to these companies that are making billions of dollars from you, your beliefs, your purchases, your ideas, their ideas that they put into you, your time spent on these platforms, they make more money. The people that design the algorithms in these platforms, they make more money from the time you spend on these platforms. That's why they make it so addictive. You may think you're not addicted, but I had a gambling problem once upon a time. How can you get addicted to gambling? There's no substance. There's no anything. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You get addicted to the feeling. Because more often than not, people that are addicted to gambling, social media, or anything really, their life is so dull and so painful and so boring, they would do just about anything, regardless of how bad it is, just to feel something. This is why you see these people that are so passionate and dedicated to attacking strangers in the comment section. You can read these fucking things. They just go to town on strangers, saying the most worst and nastiest things ever. But if you saw these people in real life, they wouldn't say shit. It's not because they're so passionate about said topic. It's because that feeling as you're typing, as you're angry, as depressing and as scary as that is to think about, that's the highlight of their day or possibly week. That feeling, attacking someone or being right. And when I broke out of this trap, this left and right, this right and wrong, black and white, and found myself in the middle ground, there's two sides to every story. There's three truths when there's two people involved. There's your truth, there's my truth, and there's the actual truth. And when you're in a court of law, you find that out pretty quickly. I mean, the truth comes out, unless the judge is corrupt. Or the police are corrupt. More often than not, they are. The reason why I made this particular video and this lesson for Defend Freedom Project is you are being divided and manipulated unnecessarily, and more than likely against your will. Now, if I ask you a few simple questions like, would you rather get along with most of the people in your family? Would you rather not live in a world that if you disagree with someone who was a friend, an actual friend in your life and is on your friends list, because you disagree with them about a certain topic that they've been flooded with information, right, wrong, or otherwise, all of a sudden they say things like, I'm going to delete you. I don't want you in my life. Now, this topic doesn't affect me at all, and I'm not even sure if I'm right about it. But I've been made to feel that passionate and that righteous about it that I cannot have you in my life with your free thought and your different belief. And it's usually the people that threaten to delete or encourage censorship who are the most dangerous people on the planet. I don't mean violent people. I don't mean dangerous people physically. I've been around some of the worst people in the world you can imagine. And more often than not, they have it under voluntary control. They do those kinds of things when they need to do it. Not saying it's right, but they just do it when they need to do it. People who are emotionally unhinged, people who get triggered, people who get manipulated and led and believe certain things and stand by political parties, left and right, whether they're right or otherwise, or certain topics that are in the news cycle. When they pick a side and almost defend it to the death, although these people wouldn't stand up and fight in reality, it creates division, it creates hate, it creates conflict amongst ourselves. You may be familiar with the term divide and conquer. This is how politicians, leaders, government officials have gotten away with what they've gotten away with, not just the last couple of years, but mainly in history in general. Especially now with the internet though, is they take two ideas, two beliefs, two stories, and they give one story to a set of people and one story to another set of people. And they don't allow anyone to come into the middle, the truth, the ability to think for yourself, the ability to believe what you want to believe. I mean, if you're not hurting anyone and you provide value to society, outside of that, what right or what need is there for you to be censored, hurt, or ridiculed? Answer that question. I mean, I don't want to know the answer because you can't, because you never thought about it. Because here's the thing, what if that person essentially one day becomes you? You find yourself on the wrong side. You find yourself on those people are brainwashed, those people are morons, those people are dangerous side. In this new world that we're coming into, that's been manipulated and controlled by design, by these algorithms that I told you about, and the information that's picked up on many different routers and internet providers, essentially the government. When you find yourself on that other side where your income, your health, your freedom, your happiness is threatened or even taken away, that's when you start to realize how dangerous and how serious what I'm saying is. Because this is not a conspiracy, this is what is going on. You can look for yourself if you actually looked for anything yourself and made your own belief about anything yourself, whether you thought it was wrong, right, good, bad, or otherwise, going back to a fact. And if someone sat down and said, do you know how to look after your weight? Do you know how to eat right? You tell the truth. You say, no, I have fucking no idea. But I tell Dan not to smoke. The most powerful thing you can ever do in your life is look after you. The most powerful thing you can ever do in your life is make your own beliefs and values and ideals that suit you. And by human nature, by God or the universe or energy or whatever you want to call it, someone who does that, let's say 99% of the time, kind of like your chances of surviving the flu, 99% of the time that person will come to the conclusion or the belief that they want to be a good person. They want to be loving. They want to be hardworking. They want other people around them to live a better life, regardless of their skin color, their nationality, their political view. But to be able to get to that point, it takes courage, confidence, people like me, because other people have brought me to this place. To be able to get to that place is very difficult because it requires you to have the courage to risk being judged, risk being possibly wrong. Because most people rather live in a familiar hell than an unfamiliar heaven. And I can tell you from my own experience, you have no idea what you're wrong about because you refuse to accept that you could be wrong about something. And these people know this, and they flood you with more information on your beliefs, more information on your ideas, more information about what you think is right. Therefore, just reinforcing these beliefs and values, whether they're fucking right, wrong, dangerous, hurtful, or otherwise. I mean, if I was living in the 70s, no one says shit. But now it's forced upon me what I should do, what I have to do, same as you right now with certain things. I mean, even to create an income, you have to put poison into yourself because half of the population has been influenced by, like I said, information. It could be right, wrong, or otherwise, or personally, my belief, dangerously inaccurate and wrong. I mean, why would you need to censor it if it was so right? I'm going to suggest downloading a VPN for your phone, for your laptop. Pay for one because the free ones aren't very effective and the free ones tend to slow down your internet. I would take the time to learn how to control the time you spend on these social media platforms. I would take the time to make sure you're creating beliefs and values that you've written down, that you've come to your own conclusion on, and not what you've been influenced by on here, by scrolling through timelines, by having videos thrown in your face that you're meant to see and not the other side, or even the middle ground. Because the more that the human race, the more that all of us are separated from that middle ground and kept on different sides, the more we can be controlled and exploited. And if you take the time to withhold and keep your information, thoughts, ideas, purchases, that's why they hate crypto, much more private, you realize these people that you don't like, these people that you hate, aren't as bad as you think or were led to believe. In fact, they're just like you. But unless you become aware of this system and where it's going and make an individual effort to do something like climate change because you care so much about that, then you'll be forever divided from family, friends, society, based on whatever you're told at the time, based on whatever the algorithm picks up on what you kind of believe, and they reinforce that. While someone maybe next door, they see that that person thinks a slightly different thing, and they reinforce that. And you have two people who are dead set on their beliefs. And both may be totally wrong, and you find the truth in this middle ground, but they'll never know. And this is how they get away with rigging elections. extorting you financially, making you do and be and just live a life a lot of the time that you don't want to, but you feel coerced, manipulated, afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. You should not fear man, anyone, not even me. Whether you believe in God or anything, I mean, if you even know what your beliefs are, the only thing you should fear is not living the life that you truly want and truly will experience, because it's your life. And you work this out when you get to the end of your days and you die and the ego dies off, and I mean, your life flashes before your eyes. And if you ever go to an old folks home, if they haven't been killed off by vaccine, you ask them what their biggest regret is. And it's not the things that they did, good, bad, or otherwise. It's the things that they didn't do. And more often than not, we don't do things out of fear. I'm telling you, there's nothing to be afraid of except staying where you are in beliefs, values, political parties, ideals that are not serving you whatsoever, but you don't realize that until they turn on you. So I know it's a lot to take in, and it does take time to set up your phone, your laptop, your life, so you're not influenced and manipulated. But I highly suggest it's worth doing. You know, like building a good body and a good life and confidence and that kind of thing. I'd recommend it. And like the thousands of men that have asked me how to do that, and I'll tell you how to do it. Like I'm going to tell you many other things like this, but here's the fucking thing. You have to do it. There's no other way to get that outcome but to do the fucking damn thing. But just like everything else I've achieved, and you can too, it was very hard at the start, and I doubted myself, and other people doubted me, and I wasn't sure what to do. But having gone through those hurdles and having done just about everything a man wants to do in their life, and still not really realizing what I want from life or what I should do, apart from maybe leave a legacy of a better world. That's why I'm sharing this information with you, because the people that I mention, they don't want you to live in a better world, believe it or not. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. These people tell you, we're doing this for you, we're in this together, we want the best for you. But do you notice nothing ever gets better? In fact, it gets worse. And you may see that now. Because this has been played out for a long time. This has been planned for a long time. And now they just have the technology to pull it off. Like I said earlier about a hammer, can be used to hurt someone, can be used to create a house. Do not allow this technology that can change our lives in the best ways to be used against us, to be exploited, extorted, and turn on each other. I don't know you, probably don't like you, but I do love you and respect you enough to tell you this. It's 30 minutes of my time on a Saturday night. Believe it or not, I've got much better things to do. But by my values and beliefs, this was the most important thing that I needed to do right now. So there you go. God bless. Have a great evening, whether you celebrate Halloween or not. Don't go around knocking on people's doors and demanding they give you shit. Never know who you're fucking harassing. I'll tell you that right now. And instead of telling people so passionately about your beliefs and ideals that you really wouldn't defend or stand up for, or they may not even be your own, focus on becoming the best person you can be. Focus on improving your life so much that you realize all these bigger issues, but also trivial issues that you really have not too much impact, if any, on. No matter how much you go on about it, you realize everything you needed was already inside of you anyway. But you've been led to believe it's not. And Dan Fitz.